law of polarity states that everything has a pair of opposites, and these opposites are actually the same thing at different degrees and frequency. Everything is dual, everything has poles or polar opposites. And we already know that everything is basically energy. All energetic fields of thought, behavior, and feelings have a range of polarity, or that there is a dual nature of all things. Light and darkness, hot and cold, love and hate, success and failure, peace and chaos. These are not separate things, but different degrees of the same essence. Everything exists on a spectrum. Hot and cold are just varying degrees of temperature. Fear and courage are varying degrees of emotion. This suggests that you can shift from one pole to the other by changing your thoughts, perspective, or vibration. Opposites are identical in nature, but different in degree. Example: love and hate are both emotions tied to strong engagement or care. Indifference is actually their opposite in terms of emotional involvement. Application in mindset and spiritual growth. By understanding this law, you can transmute negative states into positive ones, for example, anxiety into excitement. It encourages mental alchemy, consciously choosing which end of the polarity you want to embody. Foundation of balance. This law suggests that contrast is necessary to understand and appreciate any experience. One cannot know joy without sorrow, or light without darkness. The law of polarity can be ascended by mastering the shifting of your vibration either up or down the polarity spectrum. We can practice non-judgmental awareness, which is understanding that all extremes are part of the same whole. This helps you reduce resistance or judgment toward life experiences. Also, remembering that with manifestation, non-judgmental awareness helps by recognizing contrast and refines what you truly want to attract. You can shift from sadness to joy by placing your focus on gratitude or love and looking away from the things that make you sad. Help me to know the things that I can't change, because if you can't change something, your energy of sadness will just manifest more things to be sad about. So identify the energy and shift it to its highest attribute. For instance, from lack to abundance, both are merely mindsets or states of being. Abundance can be cultivated with awareness and focus. And then from fear to confidence. They both stem from the same energetic root, one focused inward, confidence, and the other focused outward, fear. The law of polarity asks that you consider the contrast of every experience. Navigating contrast in spiritual growth means learning how to handle opposing experiences or feelings in a way that supports clarity, growth, and inner peace. Here's a practical and spiritual guide to navigating the inevitable contrast that everyone faces. Number 1, recognize contrast as a tool for clarity. Contrast shows you what you don't want so you can better identify what you do want. For example, feeling unappreciated helps you realize how much you value being seen and acknowledged. A period of lack can awaken a desire for abundance and freedom. Once you see what you don't want, shift your attention to what you do want. Write it down. Visualize it. Feel into it emotionally. Let contrast sharpen your vision. Next, practice observing without judgment. Rather than resisting or labeling contrast as bad, observe it like a mirror. What is this situation showing me? What belief or pattern is it revealing? The goal is to become the observer, not just the reactor. Remember to stay centered. Ground yourself during intense moments of contrast. Breathe deeply. Meditate or journal. Practice grounding, walk barefoot, spend time in nature. This helps regulate your nervous system and keep your frequency steady. Stay calm. In spiritual growth, polarity is deeply present. Your ego versus your higher self. Earthly attachment versus divine connection. Or chaos versus peace. Consider all sides of a situation without being biased towards yourself. Accept the truth about yourself, determine the frequency, and set your intentions on the bright side of your life. Navigating these polarities helps you become more conscious and whole. You integrate rather than eliminate opposites, leading to inner harmony. The law of polarity doesn't ask you to avoid negative feelings. It invites you to see them as teachers. Every contrast is a bridge to clarity, healing, and expansion. Use it as a compass. Visualizing polarity can help you deeply feel and understand how opposites exist on a single spectrum, and how you can move from one state to another with awareness. Here are a few powerful ways to do it, whether you're meditating, journaling, or working on inner healing. Imagine a horizontal line of light in front of you. On the far left is one emotion or state, like fear, lack, and chaos. On the far right is its opposite, which is love, abundance, and peace. See yourself standing at a point on that line. Now ask yourself, where am I right now on this spectrum? How would it feel to shift just one step toward the state I desire? Remember, you're not leaping from one extreme to the other. You're sliding gradually, and that's perfectly powerful. The law of polarity reminds us that everything contains its opposite, and both are necessary for growth, awareness, and transformation. Every challenge holds the seed of its solution. Every moment of pain reveals the capacity for healing. Just as day cannot exist without night, neither can expansion occur without contrast. This law teaches you not to fear the low moments, but to see them as signposts, guiding you toward clarity, strength, and alignment with your desires. It's not about escaping one pole for the other, but learning to navigate between them with consciousness and compassion. You are not stuck in darkness. You are simply in a part of the cycle. And you have the power, through awareness, intention, and energy, to shift toward the light. In honoring both sides of the spectrum, you reclaim your power to choose, to grow, and to become whole. Thank you for watching and listening to this content. We invite you to like this video and subscribe to our channel to learn more about universal laws and the ascension process.